So, the topic that we're going to talk about today is understanding people better. Understanding people better. Understanding people better really has to do with self. A lot of times when we talk about understanding people, we really believe that it has to do with them or they have to be better or something like that. But when we truly understand about what people are and who they are in our life and why we are supposed to have these relationships, we understand that it really has to do with how much we love self. Because if I love myself, then I really care about understanding people better because I care about the connection. And that's one of the things. Candace, hey love, Grand Rising. T-Rash, hey love D. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning. So the first part of understanding people better is this interesting word that we use sometimes, and it's called listen. The first thing we have to do is listen. How can we understand people better? How can we figure out their motives? How can we get into their mind and understand where they're coming from? And understand where they're coming from. We have to listen first. From the word says that thank you, T-Rash. The word says, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. So are you listening to what the mouth is saying? And that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Ron. Hey, Studley. We gotta begin to understand people better so we can love ourselves better. When you listen, you better understand someone's emotional state. And at the times that we choose not to listen, we're not caring about what someone's emotional state is to see what their relationship is to us. When we don't listen, we choose to create a view or what our expectation of their emotional state is. So in order for us to understand people better, we have to listen. Because when we listen, we better understand someone's emotional state. When we choose not to listen, to who they are, then we begin to create a view of what their emotional state is or an expectation of what we want their mental state to be. So we listen to understand people's emotional state instead of creating our own one. A lot of times we want relationships so bad we ignore the red flags, and the reason why we ignore the red flags is because of how bad we desire it, how bad we want it. Instead of sitting back and listening to what someone has to say to understand whether they should be in our life for a season or if we should even have a relationship at all in the first place. A lot of times our desires overcrowd are louder than what people are saying. When we look back on some of our relationships, we could see that they was telling me they wasn't ready, but I just didn't want to hear it, right? I saw the red flags, but I chose not to see them, acknowledge them, because I wanted what I wanted. And we could go back and people can say, well, they didn't just all of a sudden get crazy, Candy, just because they were in your life. I had somebody say that to me before. They had to be crazy before they got there. Thank you, Tapper. Hey, Queen. Welcome forward, love. So they said to me, what are some things that you noticed from the beginning? Thank you, Candace. That showed you who they were. And when you begin to reflect on relationships and you go back, you can see the red flags. You can see the warning signs. You can see all the things that happen that you choose to ignore. So sometimes we don't want to understand people better because we don't want to hear no. So instead of listening to what their emotional state is, we create our own on what we feel they have. That's like when we want to, thank you, love. Thank you, Tapper. You guys tap the screen to share it alive. You know, that's like me demanding something from someone knowing that I'm not going to get it. We're asking them to change, but that's not how they were since they started. You have decided in your mind that you will be able to change them from the beginning. 5 years later, you're asking them, why do they do this? But they've been doing this the whole time they've been with you. Now you're demanding change. Hey, Samuel. Welcome, love. Hey, Jim. You're demanding change because now you're seeing clearly. Now you see what you're working with when you chose not to see it before. But it's the same exact person that you was dealing with when you first started talking to, right? I want to listen to what you have to say so I know who you are in my life. I want to understand what your motive is. I want to understand if you're ready for a relationship and what kind of relationship you're ready for. I'm tired of deciding people's emotional states because of what I desire. I'm ready to take a step to begin to accept whatever comes towards me. I'm willing to accept where people are in their life and not forcing them to be in a place because I want something. I'm willing to take it as it is. And when we come to that place, that's when we love ourselves more. I want to understand someone's emotional state because I want to know what type of relationship they should have in my life. I love myself more to not fool myself with these false realities. Come on now. I love myself more to not feed myself lies and make up these fantasies. When we love ourselves more, we don't play games with what we deal with in our life. And the games come from the things that we desire, that we create. When somebody wants a relationship, they'll decide what somebody's emotional state is. But they're trying to love you. And they're telling you that they've been hurt from their past relationships. They're telling you how much I love you. I never had a woman treat me like this. I never had a man treat me like this. I love you. Thank you for treating me like that. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for, and there's a lot of things going on, but is that a desire from them because they're missing something in their life that they don't have, or is it a desire to want you? Understanding people better. When we understand people better, that means that we love ourselves more. A lot of times when we're trying to be patient with people, we believe that us being patient with them really has to do with them and what's wrong with them, and they can't comprehend and they can't understand and why this and why that. But to be honest with you, it really has to do with how much you love yourself. Because if I'm patient enough with the people that I'm connected to, I can really understand who they are. And I need to understand who they are to recognize if they are divinely connected to me or if they should be in my life altogether. I got to listen to what they have to say because I have to understand their motive, because I love myself more. I love myself more than just having numbers of relationships that are around me. I love myself so much that I want my relationships to be divine. And the only way that I can find out if my relationships are divine is if I understand who I'm connected to. We're not patient with them. We choose not to really listen to better understand their emotional state. The problem why we get into these toxic relationships in the first place. Jen, New York, hey love, or Jenny, whichever one it is. Welcome forward, love. Maya Day, thank you for the taps. You guys tap the screen and share it live. Black Muhammad, hey love. We listen to better understand people's emotional state. So if we're not listening, we're not hearing what their emotional state is. And a lot of times these people are crying out for help, not because they want a relationship with the opposite sex or whatever it may be, same sex, not because they want a relationship with somebody, but they're crying out for help because they never felt love. They're crying out for help because they're lonely. They're crying out for help because they feel like they don't have value or worth. Do you see what I'm saying? And when we get that confused, them crying out for help, oh, they want me, that's because we're not listening. It says, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. Are you listening to the heart? Are you choosing to hear what you want to hear because of what your desires are? We force things to happen in these relationships. Hey, Jana. Hey, Coochie. Lovely lady. Hey, love. Crazy freak. Hey, love. Welcome. Grand rising to you all. I love you all. When we don't really listen to how they feel and what they're expressing, then we choose to make our own opinions. We choose to bring it to a point to put in our own expectations of who they are when that's not what they're saying to us. Just because of what we want. I want the relationship, so I'm going to create my view on their emotional state. Oh, it's just something that they're going through right now, but they'll change. Oh, it's something that they're dealing with and it was in their past relationship. That has nothing to do with me. We'll be okay. Our desires are louder than their cry for help. When we get into relationships we're not supposed to be in, our desires are louder than their cry for help. We ignore what we're hearing. We create what we're hearing. We build expectations to what we're hearing, not what they're saying. I need to love myself more to take things as they are. I need to love myself more I need to understand where people are in my life that I'm trying to connect to. I can't just have any connections because I know my value. I can't just have any connections because I know my worth. So in order to understand people better, we have to listen. And listening is deep because when we love ourselves more, we listen so much so to the point we don't even care whether we're right or not. And that's what I want to talk about, at least before I get off of here. Thank you, Treasure. I love myself so much, I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I'm listening to what you have to say because I gotta understand what your motive is. I need to understand how you think. I need to know why you did what you did. So I love myself more, so I gotta hear what you're saying. I need to understand what people's motive. I love myself more than being right. A lot of times we care about, our pride takes us. We care about being right more than we care about what people's motives are. That means you love yourself. You like being right more than you loving yourself. I'm going to listen to what you have to say, not because I want to prove you right. How many of us was in a position before where people are trying to explain something to us and we're allowing them to talk, but we got all the receipts knowing that knowing that what we're dealing with and what we have on the table, that we have all the things to prove that what they're saying is wrong. But we can't say nothing because we're letting them voice their opinion. Come on, how many King and Queens you all been there? You just want to say, I got it right here, like Stop talking, you're lying. You have all the receipts to show that they're lying. And you just, come on, Tapper, and it's real hard for you to not interject and say, you're lying. I got the receipt right here. I got the text message right here. I got the thing that you have right here. No, you're wrong. How hard is it us to sit back? Ribs, hey love. How hard is it for us to sit back and not say something? If it's hard for you to do that, then you gotta come to a place to be able to listen. It's hard, Tapper. Come on. If we could be real about it. It's crazy hard. Especially if you have receipts, and especially if you can prove them wrong. And they just swear that they're right. When it's hard for us because we want to show them that they're wrong, it's hard for us not to say nothing. We haven't gotten the picture. And I learned this the hard way. I cared more about proving myself right than listening to what they had to say. And if I took more time in my relationship to really try to hear what they're trying to say, to figure out what their motives are. Serene One, welcome forward, love. Then I would have knew this was a relationship I shouldn't have been in the first place. And that part is deep. I always was ready to prove them wrong. And did most of the time, not ever recognizing why they felt they was right. Because they really didn't love me. That part. To understand them. Come on, Tapper. I ignored the fact that they wasn't for me, but they were for what I was for. They was for what I could offer them. They was for what I was giving them, but they never really cared about me. Yes, that part. Tapper, it hits different. When I finally came to a place to not trying to prove myself right or prove myself from someone saying I was wrong, I was really able to listen to better understand what their emotional state was. Why would you go to the grave to prove me wrong and I got receipts saying I'm right? Why do you care about this so much? Why do you think that way? What made you feel like you're right? Because the hate is real, because you're jealous somewhere, because there's some type of envy deep down inside, because you don't love yourself, so you want to bring hurt people, you want to hurt me, because there's something deeper that's going on. And if we're not listening, King and Queens, then we're not going to catch it. I wish... Come on, Jenny. I wish I would love myself more enough that I didn't put my love, me being right over the love that I have for self. I don't care about being right anymore. I want to understand why you feel you're right. Thank you, love. Thank you, Tapper. That part. I don't care about proving anything right or wrong. I really want to understand what you're thinking. I want to understand why you feel you're right, because I gotta understand your motive so I can love me better. I gotta understand your motive so I can love me better. Why did you buy me the car? Is it so that you have your control over me? That I always feel like that I owe you something, or I gotta give you whatever you ask for? Why did you do that thing for me? Why was it good? You know what the problem is? We never really want to understand who people are if they do good things for us. And that part is deep. Anytime somebody does something wrong to us, that's when we want to figure out motives. Well, why she don't like my dress, or why she got an attitude with me, or why she didn't like my hair. Oh, because she don't got her hair done. Is it because she don't got her hair done? What is it? What's the reason? Oh, why does he doesn't like me? Is it because he doesn't have the same car I do? Is it what is it? What is it? What is the reason? Oh, that's why he doesn't like. We're always quick to start digging deep down in the negative things that people do to us. But do you love yourself enough to inquire on why people are doing good for you? Come on, king and queens. Are they doing good for you because there's something that they're taking from you that you don't even recognize? Are you giving me this car because you want to have some type of leverage over me because you gave me something? What you doing? Why is this car here? I'm not excited about anything good that you're giving me unless I know where your heart is. I'm not excited about what you do for me unless I know where your heart is, unless I know what your motive is. Do you love me because you love me without conditions? Or is this car that you're giving me another condition under your tent of love? That part. I love myself more so I could love people better. And the only way I can get there is if I really, truly listen to what people have to say. Not caring whether who's right, who's wrong, but I want to really understand why you feel like that. Come on, thank you, Tapper, thank you, love. So I know who you are in my life. What type of relationship this is. Is it divine or is it a fantasy that I've created because I desired something more than what the person was saying to me? It's deep. Oh, glowingly. Hey, love. I will always remember you, glowingly. Searching for Tisha. I will always I will always remember you, love. That's why you still, you could never come back, and you'll always still be friended by me. I always remember you from Tisha. Love you, queen. Welcome forward, love. Tapper, thank you, love. Meow. Right. When we understand people better, it's smarter. Oh, thank you, Jenny. When we understand people better, it's a smarter thing. It's wiser. I don't just, oh, thank you, glowingly. I don't just react anymore. I really want to know why you feel like you're right. And the more I understand you better is the more I can understand what type of relationship we're supposed to have. Oh, it's real. And when I can understand it, then I know where it's supposed to be. You know what it is, king and queens? We are so used to being kicked when we're down. We're so used to getting the lesser thing. We're so used to being hurt. We're so used to the wrong things. That's why we focus on the wrong things when people are doing them to us. When they do something wrong to us, we're so quick to figure out, why did you do this? Why did you do that? When people do good to us, we just take it because it's not what we're used to. But love yourself more to understand where it's coming from. That's why we get trapped and entangled in these toxic relationships, is because we feel something good and we just take it. We talked about it yesterday, even if it's just 10%, but the whole rest of the 90% of the relationship is horrible. We latch on to this 10%, hoping, wishing, and dreaming. You don't gotta do that, king and queens. You are worth 100. We talked about this yesterday. So when you deal with relationships and you understand people and you begin to understand people, you gotta come to a place to be able to say, you know what, I gotta figure out what someone's emotional state is to know where they are. Juju, I love you. Big Daddy, hey, Shells, hey, love. Turn 168, hey, love. Hennessy, I'm going to hear what you have to say and how you say it. Ron K. Love. I'm not just going to, Your Highness, hey, love. I'm not just going to I'm going to hear it and listen to what you have to say and how you say it. The more that we can understand people is the more that we can love ourselves better. And I need you, king and queens, to get that connection. That connection is real. It's not about it's not about being patient just because you're helping somebody else. Nah, I'm being patient because I love you, but I love myself more, so I gotta be patient enough to hear what you have to say. I gotta be patient enough to let you get out what you're saying, really sit back and understand why you're saying what you're saying, because I love myself more. Oh man, kid, you love me so much. You always let me. You're so patient with me. You let me talk. You let me do this. Even though I was dead wrong, you still was letting me speak. You still was showing, you was asking me. You still didn't have an attitude. I sure didn't, because I love myself more. I love myself more to love you better. Because when I understand what people's motives are, and I can cut you off, and no longer can we hinder each other in our life. When I'm at that place, you're able to help people. You're able to help them grow, help them understand what they're going through. Hey, Pepper Love. Hey, Key Drop. You're helping them to be better. Even though they could be doing something wrong and have the worst motives towards you, by you making them recognize it and cutting off a relationship, that is you loving them better. This is what people fail to realize. As long as I love myself more, at the end of the day, I love people better. I'm going to snap you into reality and make you realize that everything that you have experienced through your whole life is affecting how you treat your relationships today. And then the motives on why you do what you do to me is wrong. And that's why I cannot be friends with you no more. There are people that you have disconnected with in your life that till this day still wishing that you still had a relationship with them. Whether it was a partner relationship, whether it was a friendship, whether it was a family relationship, whatever it is, there are people out there right now that you have cut off still wishing that they had a connection with you because of how genuine you are, because of how real you are, and because of how much you love them unconditionally. So by me snapping this back into reality, we're coming to a place that we push them and propel them to love their self more. So yes, when I love myself more, at the end of the day, I love people better. When we're good with our current reality, with ourselves, we don't create false reality with others. We don't feel like we're enough. That's why we don't listen to what people have to say, because we want to create our own reality. But when we're okay with who we are, Red Rising, you see me, hey love. Sunshine, welcome for Queen. Do you guys see, you guys get that? That part is deep. When I'm okay with who I am, and I love who I am, and I'm okay with the mistakes I made, and every scar that I see in the mirror is beautiful, and I know I'm not broken, but I know I don't got it all together, but I know I'm enough. My reality is good. But when we don't like our reality, we create new ones with others. We create false ones with others. And that's what happens when we don't listen. Because our reality isn't good enough. Because if I stop this relationship that I want to have, even though the person is still hurt from their previous relationship, I could jump in a relationship with them. I'll no longer be lonely, and that's going to benefit me. So let's get together. No, when I understand my reality, yeah, I am alone, I am single, but I have the Most High, and I have my self-love that fulfills my life. When I have everything, I have nothing. Then when this relationship comes along and I understand that they're not ready for one, I'm not going to force it, because my life is good enough already. That part. This is where this comes from. I don't need to force and fake realities. I can listen to what people have to say because I'm not desperate for relationships, because the relationship with myself is enough. And you guys know what I mean when I said the relationship with myself. For me to have self-love, I need to know my value, know my worth, and have the relationship with the Most High. My relationship with myself is enough. I don't need to force anything. So I do listen to what people have to say, and I do hear what their motive is. And I don't force anything. When our life is enough, we don't have to create false realities of it. When we are accepting of our life and our life is good enough in our eyes, we don't have to create false realities of it. We don't see no, hey love, thank you King Yosef. We don't have to create these false fantasies and realities where we are determining what people's emotional state is and not really what it is for them that they're saying to us. And that's why it means so much when I tell you that it really has to do with us when it comes to understanding people better. When you deal with people that can't talk to people, when you deal with people that are always by themselves, when you deal with people that are accepting to not have relationships and people are always annoying and whatever it may be, loving yourself is the best thing we can do as humans. Yes, glowingly, good morning. Yes, grand rising to you, Queen. Million, hey King. Nice to see you, love. Grand rising King. When you can date yourself, you have found peace. Come on, glowingly. When you know that you're all you have, Nate, welcome for my love. I love you. When you know you're all you have, then you won't force things anymore. You're not going to force relationships. When you deal with people that can never talk to people, or they always have an attitude, or I like being alone, you don't really love yourself. Yeah, thank you, love. Thank you. I appreciate you, Queen. You're not in a place to really love yourself enough to understand people better. They can't have connections with people because they don't feel like they're enough. And that's the hard part. Because if I'm shutting everyone out, then I don't want to see that I'm wrong sometimes. And I don't want to recognize that I'm outside of the box. Million, thank you, love. Be good with your current reality with yourself and not false realities with others. How much do you want it, King and Queens? How much do you want all that has been called for your life? All the promises that have been spoken over you? Every created purpose that you have? Fulfilling and reaching that destiny that the Most High has called for you. How much are you willing to get there? You deserve it. And I know that the life experiences that you have felt so far, my King and Queen Santana, hey love, you don't feel like you do, but you do. Right, I pray and hope I'm on the right track. Yes, and that's all we can do. So I'm asking and encouraging you, King and Queen, stop beating yourself up. All you can do is really try your very best with a good heart. And that's all the Most High asks of you. You see, Million, he said, oh, I pray and I hope that I'm on the right track. All I can do is try with what I know and try to love myself as much as I can. We are ever learning, ever evolving in this thing called self-love. Ever evolving. Learning who we are, learning to love who we are. Every day we're finding something new about us that we got to change or grow or we never seen before, and we're learning to love us. It's okay that we don't have it all together, and it's okay that we're trying. As long as we're doing it with a good heart, He will align the stars for you. That's all He's asking for. Try your very best. I didn't create you to have it all together, because that's why I'm here. Why would a God make a people that don't need Him? Why would a God make a people that don't need Him? If you're perfect, you don't need a God. Come on, Nate. And when we can recognize that we were created to make mistakes so that we can learn from them, and as we learn, we grow, and as we grow, we get strengthened, and as we're strengthened, we can walk into all He has called for our life, reach that destiny. Then we're not going to be so hard on ourselves. We're not going to beat ourselves up because of what we're dealing with. Hey, OG. Hey, love. So I encourage you, king and queens, understand people better because you love yourself more. Understanding people really has to do with the self-love that you carry, because you really want to figure out the connection.